Hi English 101i students, welcome to week 8 of our course. I hope you are all doing well and enjoying the nice cooler weather that we're having. This is my favorite time of year. I really love the fall season. I just love the change in the weather, that it's like fresh and cool outside, the leaves start to change, and this is just a beautiful area of the United States to explore all of that. So if you happen to have transportation, a way to travel around, this is definitely a beautiful area to go and look at fall colors when they start to show up on the trees in the next few weeks. Well, we'll begin by going to course information, and we'll download our course calendar, and we're going to jump into looking at week 8. All right, so let's scroll down here a little bit, and we'll see from last week, of course, you uploaded the final version of your narrative essay, or you'll be doing that by tonight, in fact. And so during this week, I'll be reading your narrative essays and giving final grades to those according to the rubric that I provided you with in Blackboard. And in addition to that, you worked on assignments 5.1 and 5.2. So 5.1 was to help you revise your essay from a grammar standpoint so that you would be able to make those changes in your final version of your essay. And then 5.2 is kind of moving us on to this week, where we're going to get ready for the personal argumentative essay. So assignment 5.2 was learning all about writing academic summaries. And this is a really important skill for any kind of writing you do for academic courses at the university. And as you move into English 102, you'll be getting much more into more formal research-based writing assignments. So we're getting started with that here in English 101. So this week you'll see that we have 2 assignments to work on. One is assignment 5.3, and that is about integrating paraphrases and quotes. When I say integrate, I mean taking 2 things and combining them to make them a whole. So you might have your own ideas about something you've read, let's say an article like you did last week with the writing academic summaries assignment. Maybe you chose your article, you read it, and you got certain ideas from it or ideas that stood out to you from that article. And remember, you worked on annotating an article back in the beginning of the semester. So all of this kind of works together to help you take what you read and digest those ideas and make them your own. So what you'll be working on this week is taking ideas from another source, like an article, and being able to put them in your own words, or being able to use exact words and quotations and build them into your own writing. And it's a skill that everybody needs for any kind of academic papers that they write at the university. Okay, the other assignment that you'll work on is the first draft of your personal argumentative essay, and I will go through the guidelines for that assignment here in this video. All right, so we'll move back to our Blackboard course. We're going to go into My Classroom, into our modules area, and all the way down to Module 5, the personal argumentative essay. So like all the modules, you've got a description here of the skills that you're going to take from this module that we'll go forward with. And so we'll go ahead and open that up. And since we've already completed a few of these activities, we'll move down to the ones that are relevant for this week. So as you see here, assignment 5.3 and the personal argumentative essay draft are due on Sunday, October 11th. All right, so moving down, you'll see assignment 5.3, integrating paraphrases and quotes. So as it tells you here, in your comparative evaluation essay, that's actually coming a little bit later on, you'll need to integrate paraphrases and quotes from 2 articles into your body paragraphs. And you'll even be doing this in a limited way in the personal argumentative essay that's coming up this week, the first draft of that. Okay, so in assignment 5.3, you'll watch a tutorial about integrating research, information from outside sources, into an academic paragraph. I think it's really easy to follow and very well explained. So after you watch that tutorial, you'll download the attached document and label the parts of an academic paragraph. So let's quickly open that up, just so you can see what it looks like. And when you open it, make sure that you select under Review select all markup. It'll open up with simple markup, which won't show you the comments right away, but I think it's easier to see with all markup. So that way you'll see that I've labeled the topic sentence, I've labeled the signal verb, I've highlighted, an integrated quote, and an explanation. Okay, so the idea here is that after you've watched the video, you'll kind of get a sense of how an academic paragraph is put together. So you'll recognize what a topic sentence is. That's a sentence that introduces, it's like the main idea of that paragraph, kind of like a thesis is for an essay. A signal verb is a verb that introduces somebody else's idea. So an author of an article that you're reading, for example. So we know that the author here is Walker. It happens to be Jay Walker. He's the speaker in a TED Talk. And the signal verb here is he insists that a person's native language is your life, etc. So insists is the verb that helps to introduce Walker's idea in this paragraph. The integrated quote is the exact words that are taken from Walker's talk that he gave. And so the writer decided to integrate his words into this paragraph to help make a point. And underneath that integrated quote, we see an explanation. So you don't just want to leave your readers with a quote hanging out in the middle of a paragraph. You've got to explain why you put it there. So after that comes your thoughts about that quote, your interpretation of that quote, because after all, there's no point in putting a quote or a paraphrase, that's ideas in your own words. There's no point in putting those things there if you don't have something to say about them. So the explanation you can see is introduced with "in other words," and the writer goes on to explain what Walker means by that idea. Okay, so that's kind of a helpful model for you as you think about how to do this in your future essays. Down in the paragraph below, I want you to do the same labeling with the same 4 labels. So in the bottom paragraph, label the topic sentence. Find a signal verb that goes along with Ryan. This is the speaker of another TED Talk that students watched for a previous class. Then I also want you to look for either an integrated quote or a paraphrase. In the second paragraph, it may be a paraphrase, which is ideas in your own words. It's the author's ideas, but they're in your own words. And then finally, an explanation of that quote or paraphrase. So go ahead and give that a try and see how that works out. And once you're finished with that activity, you'll just click on the 5.3 link and upload it from your computer. Okay, now moving on to the draft of Essay 2. Okay, so this document in the middle right here is the guidelines for the personal argumentative essay. And then sample 1 and 2, these are successful samples written by students in a previous semester of English 101I. They wrote about a different topic than you'll be writing about, but I think you'll get a very good sense of how the essay should work based on their samples. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this one up, and we'll kind of take a look through it together. Okay, so the overview tells you that you'll be asked to summarize and formulate a personal response to the materials you engage with throughout your academic career. So a personal argumentative essay, it's kind of like a hybrid or a combination of a personal essay and a more formal academic essay. We're kind of moving from completely personal to personal/formal. So we're little by little getting more and more formal as we get through English 101. In 102, it becomes much more formal. Okay, so in this essay assignment, you'll express your beliefs in response to the beliefs of another writer or speaker. So before you write the first draft of your essay, you'll learn about writing an academic summary, and that's one of the assignments you did last week. Okay, so like the first essay, I and your classmates, we will be your audience. You'll also have the chance to do a peer review activity on this essay assignment, just like you did for the narrative essay. We'll follow the same kind of procedure, so that should be familiar once we move into that next week. The purpose of this assignment is to accurately represent the ideas of your chosen article, critically examine and analyze them, and then thoughtfully respond to them with your own ideas and personal experience. So remember last week, this past week, you chose one of these articles already to summarize. You did a close reading of it and you summarized it. Now you're going to use it again. So we kind of kill two birds with one stone, if you know that idiom. You do two things at once to make your job easier. Okay. So you'll think back to the annotation techniques you practiced with the model narrative essay in Module 4, and you'll kind of do the same thing with this article, doing a close reading of it, pulling out ideas from that article that you think are useful to you and your personal experience. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do in this essay is summarize that article. Remember the summary you did this past week? Now you are going to use it, but you'll expand on it a little bit. You might have just done 5 to 6 sentences of your chosen article this past week, but now you'll need to add some extra ideas. Okay, so the summary of your chosen article should accurately and objectively represent the author's purpose and main ideas in about 250 to 300 words, so about a page of double-spaced text. Okay, and it should adhere to the guidelines for academic summary that you learned about in that previous activity this past week. Okay, your response. So this essay is going to be a summary of your chosen article and your response to that article. Your response is going to be longer than your summary because we want to know what you think about the ideas in that article, how you can relate to them personally. So that should be about 500 words or around 2 double-spaced pages of text, and should connect your personal experience, ideas, observations, and/or opinions about the content of the article. It provides you with an opportunity to explain your thoughts about the writer's arguments. Okay, a couple of organization patterns that you can use to put together your ideas for this essay. Okay, so you can begin with your introduction that will include an overview of the topic that the article is discussing. Use any of the hook techniques you've learned so far, or attention getters, another term for that. Remember back to the narrative essay, how you approached that. Your introduction should also include a thesis statement that you will revise and improve before the final draft. So in the thesis, remember to state the topic the author is discussing, and then give your comment, which is your opinion, your assertion, or your claim about his or her ideas. Take a look at the sample essays because their thesis statements are good models of this. Even though the topic is different, the way you formulate or write your thesis statement is going to be very similar. So do you agree or disagree with the author's point of view? Why or why not? Okay, for your body paragraphs, you can choose either the block method or the point-by-point method. With the block method, you first include a summary of your chosen article. Okay, so that would be the author's thesis, their main points and evidence. Okay, so the work you did last week, summarizing your chosen article, is going to help you here. Second, you'll respond to the article with your personal experiences, ideas, observations, and/or opinions about its content. So as you write your response, consider which aspects of the author's ideas you agree with and which aspects you disagree with. Okay, and of course include explanations, proof for your responses, pulled directly from the essay. That's why you're practicing integrating quotes and paraphrases this week. Okay, the other option is the point-by-point method. And if you do the point-by-point method, you're basically kind of alternating. So you might summarize one point from the article and then respond to it. Summarize a second point from the article and then respond to it. And the same for a third point, etc., and respond to it. Whichever method you choose is completely up to you. Personally, I like point by point, but that's me. I feel like I keep my ideas better organized that way, but you can certainly go with the block method. Neither one is going to have any impact on your final grade. The organization method that works best for you is totally a personal choice. And then you finish it up with your conclusion by summarizing any ideas you've been discussing throughout your paper. All right, sample essays, as I mentioned, those are there for you to refer to. Assignment requirements and other details. The final required length of the final essay is 3 to 4 full pages. For the draft that you'll be submitting next Sunday, you need 1.5 to 2 pages at a minimum. So in that 1.5 to 2 pages, you may just write, let's say, the introduction and the summary, or you might write the introduction and two or three paragraphs of summary response. You decide what you want to put in that draft. It doesn't have to have all the parts in it, but as much as possible, that we can give you a good response to your essay. So you have to have at least 1.5 pages to 2 pages to get good feedback. And if this feels like kind of an overwhelming assignment, don't let it feel that way. The idea of the draft is to try this out. If you feel a little bit lost or confused, or it seems like you don't know how to start, please get in touch with me. Come to my office hours or set aside a specific time and I'll meet with you and I'll help you through it. So, don't feel like you're alone in this. Okay, just like the narrative essay, you're going to use standard MLA format that you used for that one. And one other thing you are going to add to this essay is a works cited page. Okay, so this is probably new to everybody in the class. A works cited page is basically a list of any sources, outside sources that you have used in your essay, ideas that come from somebody else and not you. You have to show that to avoid plagiarism, like copying. So what I have done is given you a sample works cited citation, and whichever article you choose, you're going to follow this model and add a works cited page to the last page of your essay. So it's going to be at the very end as a separate page. So you'll see that the last name, comma, first name of the author comes first in your citation. The title of the article comes in quotes with all the main words capitalized. The title of the publication, if it's a newspaper or magazine, you'll put that in italics. And again, main words are capitalized. The date that it's published, and follow the exact format that you see here for the date. And finally, you'll add, or 2 other things you'll add would be the website address and then the date you accessed the article. And that date is for you to decide. Whatever date you opened up the article and looked at it, you would put that date right there. So follow this format exactly as you see it, with all the capital letters, with the order of last name and first name, the date format. This is our first practice with MLA works cited citations, and you'll do much more of this in English 102, but we need to at least take baby steps in English 101. Okay, so that goes at the end of your essay, and you really need to include that in your draft because I need to see if you're on the right track with it or if you need some help to make some corrections. The due dates. Okay, so your first draft is due Sunday, October 11th, minimum 1.5 to 2 pages. It can be 1.5 pages. And you'll submit it in the Turnitin link in Module 5. So right underneath the guidelines, you'll see the draft link to submit. Whoops. Let's go back there. Okay, and of course, use that time between Sunday, October 11th and Sunday, October 25th to get help. Come to my virtual office hours, visit the Writing Center. They're more than happy to help you, either virtually or in person. And all that information is in the syllabus about setting up a writing conference. And then by Sunday, October 25th is when you'll submit your final essay of 3 to 4 pages and turn it in. And it's in the same Module 5 folder. For the final version of your essay, if you need to request a 1-day extension to submit that, you can do that if you ask for that by Saturday, October 24th. You can do that one time during the semester. As far as grading, you already know that the English 101 essay rubric is posted, I believe, I forget which module folder that's in now, but it's there. And you'll be seeing that rubric when I return your narrative essays to you this week. So you'll be familiar with what that looks like. Okay, so that's everything for this week. I know it's a lot of information. Please get in touch with me with any questions or concerns that you might have, and I look forward to reading the first drafts of your personal argumentative essays. Have a great week.